Hi guys, and welcome to the run-in. And this weekend is a big one with Newcastle taking on Chelsea, Villa away to Bournemouth, an East Midlands derby, and a title wait, no, it's not a title decider anymore. Guard of Honor it is. Let's get into it. Big up everyone in the chat. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to the run-in. Make sure you're liking, make sure you're subscribing. Everyone's link is in the description. So go show them some love and subscribe to their channels. And if you're a Forest fan watching, please make sure you subscribe to Loaded Mag. I just need to keep an eye on what Pete's been saying as of late.
Nah. Hold on. We've been getting. We've got some spies on our side as well, and they've been keeping tabs on you. You got some questions to answer.
We'll talk it through, bro. But I ain't been saying nothing out the ordinary. Big up, Hooks. How you doing, bud? Long week.
Season done, man. Like,
season I'm on done.
Now. Yeah, I'm on holiday.
All right, this will be a Champions League free zone, right? So, I'm getting a little. I said to who was I saying to the other Cal before you came on when we were on Potts channel. I was like, I'm feeling sorry for Hooks, man. He's doing the rounds, getting passed around. And Cal was like, no, don't waver on me, don't waver on me. So we'll talk Premier League today, and we got Rich as well. Big up, Rich. How you doing, bro?
I'm good, mate. I am good, Wolfie. I'm looking forward to this weekend of football.
Yeah, and CB will be along shortly. Like I said, make sure you subscribe to all their channels. All right, I want to kick it off with the first game of the weekend, boys, which is Villa's game. Now, I think if Villa can get past Bournemouth, then Villa are serious contenders for this race. But Bournemouth, Rich, are still playing for Conference League, I would say, depending on what Palace do in the final against Newcastle. How are you guys seeing it in the Villa fan base? Are you seeing this as a must-win, or can you afford a draw with this one?
No, mate, it's 100% must-win. We've got to win all 3 games. This is the toughest one on paper, definitely out of the 3. Obviously, Tottenham getting into the Europa League final puts them in a position next week where I'm sure we'll be resting players, and then it's Man United away, the last game of the season, and then to go into that with an opportunity would be brilliant. But yeah, tomorrow is a must-win game, and Bournemouth are a tough side, and like you said, they've got something to play for. We haven't got a great record there, but I do feel like we've got the players, we've got the situation to get a result. And if we can stay in the game after 60, 65 minutes, when a lot of the time Bournemouth can run out of a bit of steam, I'll give ourselves a decent chance.
I don't think Villa need to win this game. I mean, if you think about it, like your final 2 games are Man United and Spurs. Both Man United and Spurs will put out weakened teams because they're fully focused on the Europa League final. So where I originally thought that those 2 final games might actually be quite bad luck for Aston Villa, I'm now looking at it like those 2 games are, I think they're 3 points in the bag, both of them, to be completely honest. So it would be 8. I think if you win this game, then I think based on what I think about the Man United and Spurs game, you might just make it. You hit 69.
Well, that's the thing. The only thing is if Villa draw, our goal difference is so bad that it's effectively another point for the other teams around us. That's the only problem with it. Like in ordinary time, it would be a decent result, a draw against Bournemouth away, but that's the only problem. And we've got to get past 2 teams. So that's the issue there. Even with, whatever happens with Newcastle and Chelsea result, it's still 2 teams that have to kind of get out of the way for Villa to make it in the top 5.
But so you're saying if they lost and then they end up on like that max they get is 66, you could argue, as Rich was just saying, net 65 with the goal difference. That got the table up there. Like, do you think 66 would be enough to get top 5 from what you're saying? Because I don't know, man. It feels too tight for that.
Well, I don't know, because, like, to put it this way, the only spot that people are really fighting for is 5th, because Man City are not dropping. Well, one of Man City and Arsenal. Well, sorry, both Man City and Arsenal are definitely in there. Liverpool definitely in there.
There's their fixtures. There's the fixtures. So Man City have got Southampton, Bournemouth, and Fulham. Southampton's a free win.
Yeah, and this is why I think they'll stay in there, because if they win that game, they're on 67, and I think 67 is enough to get you top 5 this season. Like, they'll probably end up drawing to Bournemouth and like Fulham last game of the season. I don't like their season will be done by then. I don't think they'll really care. With Newcastle, then that's just me personally. I think they beat Chelsea. I think they beat Everton. When it comes to Arsenal, I can see Newcastle beating us, but I think the most realistic scoreline will probably be a draw. So I've got Newcastle down as getting 7 points from their final 3. That's why I think that they're in. Like, to me, they're just in. Like, they're not falling out. So it's only really 5th. Now, when I look at the other teams, I think Chelsea will lose to Newcastle. I think they'll probably, well, I say probably, it's at Old Trafford. Maybe Man United can pull out a draw. I think they definitely lose away to Forest as their final game. So I've got them out of it. To me, Chelsea, obviously I can be wrong, but this is just my personal opinion now. When it comes to Forest, I do think probably I have Leicester down as beating you. However, to me, that Leicester game is it's because it's a derby. So because it's a derby, like, it can be a win, it can be a loss. That game can be anything. But I think Forest go on to comfortably beat West Ham and comfortably beat Chelsea. And then Aston Villa, I have Bournemouth down to win that game. But Aston Villa can pull something out the bag. And again, I think they comfortably beat Spurs and Man United. So based off of that, it's probably like, I'm still not changing from my original, which was Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Newcastle, and Forest. That's what I think the top 5 will end up being. But hey, look, man, I've been wrong about a few things this season. So hey, yeah, used to say that I can't be wrong about this stuff as well. But yeah, it's a very interesting run-in, because I feel like all of the teams in the run-in have hard games. Like, it's not like easy games towards the end. They're all very tricky games. So a great watch for a neutral like me.
What are you saying, Pierre? How are you reading this?
You know, it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one because things are changing every game, every week, every like sort of week fixture. The goalposts are moving, so it's really hard to predict. But you know, I think there's a couple of massive games in there that I think will be deciders on who finishes 5th. I think the game on Sunday with us and Chelsea is a massive one. It's a huge decider. I think it's going to propel one of those two teams into where we're talking, like Hooks is talking regarding Arsenal and City. I think if one of us or Chelsea win, it's a case of, yeah, they're done. Now it's a case of who's going to finish 5th. And I think it might well be the same at your ground, Wolfie, last game of the season. I still believe it's going to be a shootout. I still believe that fixture is going to hold so much weight on who gets that top 5 spot, and I think it might even be who gets the 5th spot out of it all, and that's why it's so hard to predict. I think everybody will have a better idea of what that top 5 is going to look like come sort of Sunday evening when these fixtures are played. I didn't realize that you play Leicester after us, so the game's on Sunday. I thought it was on Saturday, the same Villa and Bournemouth. I don't. For me personally, I think Villa have to win all their games if they're going to be within a shout of Champions League. I think a draw's not good enough. I think a loss is them done effectively. I think they've probably got a little bit too much because they've still got to gain 3 points on us and Chelsea before they're even within the mix. And even then, our goal difference is superior. So then one of us wins, it's then going again, because Chelsea are going to be or Newcastle are going to be, say, 6 points clear. if they lose, and that's I don't believe that that's going to be able to be caught at that point. So it's a difficult one. Like with Forest, look, I've been getting like pelters from some Forest fans off the back of our conversations. I still think you're well within a chance of getting Champions League football. I actually think you could turn over Chelsea and get it. That's my opinion. But all I mentioned is the last 2 games I said were going to be difficult because at the time, and we've had this conversation with you many times, I said to you when you were saying that they were easier fixtures and that you were likely to win those games, I said they're good teams. Like we had a Sandro Tonali special from like the corner flag that won us the game against Brentford. They were very good that night. They made it difficult for us. So I knew they were going to be difficult. Palace is a different one. They caught us on the sort of the wrong day. And we hammered them. But what you could see what happened with Villa in the FA Cup semi-final, you knew their tails were up at that point. So they were always going to be difficult. So that was my only thing about that. I actually think you're going to turn over Leicester comfortably. I think you could definitely get your goal difference up during that fixture. West Ham, you know what? I think you'll win that. But again, West Ham are just one of these weird teams. Like they'll be crap for like 5-6 games, and you think, yeah, you get that easy, and then they'll just turn up out of nothing. And my only concern about that and Chelsea, those last 2 games, is that like what's happening with your situation, because Cam Hudson-Odoi is injured, and more importantly, I don't know whether you probably spoke about this yourself, but with Murillo being injured, when
he'll be back this weekend. He'll be back.
Is Hudson-Odoi injured?
Yeah, he's been out for about a week now.
Oh my god! So why my prediction show did I go to Andy Kelly? Yeah, I'm letting you do all the predictions for me, and he told me to put Hudson-Odoi as the man of the match. Nah,
maybe the 11 on the pitch will be that bad, man. And they'll give
those last 2 games are my only thing for you is that like it was distinctly obvious that when Murillo went off the pitch that you weren't the same team, and you conceded a lot more chances in a quick period of time off the back of that. Now he's a monster of a centre back. He's so good. If you've got him, I think you probably go on and win that game. And actually, I think you'll probably go on and maybe win the game against Chelsea as well, and you'll be chilling in Champions League football. But those kind of things can make a difference, and that was my only thing. The last 2 games, I knew they were going to be difficult for you, but depending on your injury situation, will depend on whether you win the last 2. Because Leicester's a banker for me. I think you win.
Pete, are you? Actually, no, I'll rephrase it. How confident are you of Newcastle in their 3 games?
Good question.
Yeah, great question. I'm still confident that we can get Champions League football. I actually thought with our history at Brighton, I was really happy with getting a point there. I just didn't want to lose. I did not want to lose that game. We got a point out of that. Some people saw that as a negative. Some people saw that as dropping points, which effectively it was, but it was almost slipping down the sort of race for Champions League. I didn't see it like that. For me, it's all on this game on Sunday. Do I think we can win it? Absolutely. I think we've got qualities in our team that can exploit some of Chelsea's weaknesses. Chelsea, although they beat Liverpool were on the beach, and Liverpool missed gilt-edged chances that on any other week they'd have put away and ended up winning that game. They just would have. And Chelsea was still, even though they won 3-1 and looked good, winning it, conceded a lot of opportunities. Their defense is not good. Spoke to this Winter Surfer yesterday on our preview, and he was saying the same. For as good as their results have been, they still conceded a lot of chances. Now, I back my boys to do the business on Sunday, and if we win against Chelsea, I genuinely think we'll go on and get Champions League. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to go and get 9 points. I don't believe that, but I'm looking at our last 3, and I'm thinking we can beat Chelsea and we can definitely beat Everton. And as Hook said,
the Arsenal.
we're beaten 3 times this season, Arsenal. I do think we can go there and at least get something from that game. Like Hook said, they're chilling right now, and I think with us motivated to go and get something, it could make the difference. But this game Sunday is going to tell us a lot about what we're going to see in the next two. I believe we can get it.
Will Arsenal not be a little bit stung, obviously, but will they not? Let's assume that they don't get a result against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And Man City will beat Southampton. Will Arsenal not be like, well, shit, we might not get second here. Like, we might not get runners up.
Do they care? Do you care?
I'm sure players care.
Nah.
I think it's a little deeper than that, Rich. I think if Arsenal lose to Liverpool and then Newcastle can turn them over, I'm not saying they will, but let's be real. There is a chance Newcastle can go to the Emirates and get 3 points. That leaves a lot of people on about 67 points.
Mm-hmm.
If I beat Liverpool,
you're done. You're done.
If I beat Liverpool, Pete, and you beat Chelsea, I'm more than happy to do a deal where we just give you the 3 points. I'm more than happy. Do you know what, Wolfie? Please beat Chelsea as well. Like the last thing, the last bit of joy that I can have for this season is that I am the only London team in the Champions League next year. That's the last thing I can hold on to.
Silver lining.
Yeah,
that's the only thing I got left. So
Hooks, it's about time that someone's done a deal with me, because Wolfie's doing deals with all of
He's
deals with Villa, with Rich, he's been doing deals with Charlie, with Chelsea.
These accusations
all over the shop, right? Nobody's wanting to do deals with Newcastle. So, Hooks, man.
I gave you 6 points. I gave you 6 points, Pete, right? Come on. How much more of a deal do you want than that? But like, just
how well are Newcastle playing?
Is Joe Linton back? I think he's been a big miss.
Well, I'm holding a little bit of hope, because he's back. He was back at the training ground yesterday, because he's been in Brazil getting some rest and whatever, and getting some specialist treatment in Barcelona. Anyhow, I was asked the question today and said he's back and this, that, and the other, but we're not sure if he's going to be playing at some point this season. Now, it wasn't long ago he was ruled out for the season. Now I'm not sure. Now, some people are taking on that he could be back for Arsenal or Everton. Some people are saying it would be classic Eddie Howe, and it would be if he rocked up in the squad on Sunday. And that, if we got that, I've tweeted that earlier. I was like, look, I beg, get him in the squad. We need him. If he's in the squad on Sunday, the lift that will give everyone, the players, the fans, the team, just a lot. If he was to be all of a sudden, bang, is available, that would be monstrous. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. Would I take the risk? 110%. Even if he's 60, 70%, because unfortunately his 60, 70% is better than what we're getting from Joe Willock at the moment. So I take him, and this is the game for him. This is his bread and butter. This type of game on Sunday. This is where he plays.
Isn't Shah out though?
No, he's trained.
Some of the lads in my group were saying Shah, and someone else is doubtful.
No, Shah came off at the end of the game for Botman, because obviously we're trying to get Botman's minutes up because he's just come back from his injury. But Shaw's trained. He was in the pictures in the training this week. Pictures actually came out today, so he's fine. And look, to be honest, even if he wasn't, Botman's our best centre back, so him coming in is not exactly the worst thing in the world. It's actually probably elevating the team. So
Shaw and Trippier doubtful for Sunday.
Eddie Howe said on his presser that those
a little bit of fear in the eyes there, Pete. There's a little bit
no. It's just a surprise more than anything. But look, look at you trying to get a rise out of you.
I'm just checking. There's a little glint there in the back of the eye. But I get why Rich is asking it, because I do think that Brighton result is, you're downplaying it, and you're not downplaying it. I know you went into it thinking that. What I'm trying to say is, and I don't know if you boys agree, if Newcastle had beaten Brighton, right now you'd be looking at it, they're on 63, they would have been on 65, ahead of Man City.
I just don't think they're playing that well. I'm not being harsh. I'm not being harsh. I just think Villa beat them 4-1. You got a result against Ipswich, fine. But and then you didn't play that well against Brighton. I watched the full game. Like, yes, there was better second half, but I didn't really see much from Isak. I didn't missing Joe Linton. Obviously, is a massive, massive miss. But Brighton could have won that game. Like, they could have won that game. They had some good chances.
Here's the quote. Sorry, but here's the quote from Eddie. We have a couple of players we're assessing, and we'll see how they are this weekend. Other than that, we have trained well all week. So read into that what you want with these manager conferences right now. It's all assessing.
If you know Eddie Howe, like he says that most weeks, and
yeah, we've got the same
players rock up. You know what managers are like. But it's interesting you say that, Rich, because I actually thought we were the better team against Brighton. I thought in the first half we created the better openings. In the second half, it was pretty much for most of the game, most of that half, one-way traffic. It was us hammering at their door to try and get that equaliser. The one thing I will agree with is that in the final third, that the last ball or the last shot hasn't been there. In the game against Brighton, definitely. We didn't really get those opportunities against Villa and against Ipswich. We put them to the sword. So I think it's probably only Villa and Brighton. But you look at the other results before and after that.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Palace,
Well, in the context of Villa, like, we've got tough games. We might not win all three. In the context of that, well, Villa have only lost to Man City in the last minute of the game. So, like, I'm just saying that we,
Rich, would you say they've got the hardest run in Newcastle? If I bring it up again, there's the fixture list.
No, see, because I was just about to say another thing that's going like under the radar in this running. Nottingham Forest and Newcastle are the only two teams that play 2 home games out of the last 3.
Yeah, that's a big thing as well.
You know what? I didn't even clock that.
You boys on Tuesday. Send it to you boys on Tuesday. That's a big. It's a big thing.
Yeah.
Literally, the only thing that Newcastle need to do, and I guess the same can be applied to Nottingham Forest as well, is just win the home game this weekend. Because I'm not obviously I'm not trying to be disrespectful to Everton, but Newcastle will beat them. Like I don't even.
It ain't easy playing Everton at home, bro. I can tell you that.
Like it's not even like I'm not even trying to. Do you know what it's like? It's like I feel like Newcastle are similar to Everton in the sense that neither of them really concede too much. Like you don't really know Newcastle and Everton for conceding goals. So for me, the difference is going forward, and Newcastle going forward are just light years ahead of Everton, and it's a home game, and it's the last game of the season at St James's Park. Like the Geordies are gonna be going if Newcastle do not win, that will be the biggest surprise for me out of the whole of this running. Is if Newcastle do not beat Everton on the final home game of the season.
Yeah, that should be a banker.
Yeah.
So,
Play that out. So Newcastle win both their home games. That puts Newcastle 69 points. So that's done, right?
Mm-hmm.
Forest win their 2 home games. That puts them on 67.
Yeah, let me bring the table up. There you go, mate.
But if Villa win their 3 games, Villa get the Champions League spot.
I don't know, bro. I don't know. Like, so if you win 3, it's 69, but I'm calling it 68 for the goal difference, just for the sake of maths, yeah?
Yeah, but what you're saying is like, if Nottingham Forest win their 2 home games but draw or lose their away game, you're on 67. It doesn't even matter about like at that point. It doesn't matter about the goal difference.
But for that, if that happens, then Chelsea would have beaten us. That's the thing you got to take into account. Then that swings.
Chelsea you would have beaten Chelsea.
Yeah, you would have beaten Chelsea.
Because Chelsea's your home
games. Yeah. So,
it's just
Saturday's game is huge, right, for Villa, and that then I think every win or obviously defeat for any of those teams puts a different sense of pressure on each game. So if Villa win on Saturday, that puts a different complexion on the Newcastle Chelsea game, for example. Then that puts a different complexion on the Forest Leicester game. And as Hook says, a derby game, anything can happen in that game. Like Leicester, just a bit of pride, something out of that game, to say they've beat Forest.
But it's
it
not
matters a lot.
really a derby match. That's the thing.
It's
Like,
it's a derby, man. It's a derby.
Rivalry.
I call it a geographical derby match. Like, we don't care about Leicester.
Derby in it. It's derby in it.
It's not derby as in derby for us. You know what I'm saying? So like. That's the thing. But let's just touch on Arsenal quickly. And guys, we got well over 200 in here. Please make sure you've hit the like button. Let's get it over 100 likes. Make sure you subscribe to all the boys. All the links are in the comments down below. CB's just messaged. He said he'll be here in about 5 to talk the Chelsea side of it. But I just want to check on this Arsenal thing, right? Does anyone see Arsenal losing to Liverpool this weekend?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah, I think
hangover from PSG
so.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I think
like
Liverpool.
If we win or draw against Liverpool, I will be so shocked, because I honestly, do you know what the thing is for me? I don't know the impact that being knocked out of the Champions League semi-final will have on the mentality of the players. Like, I don't know how they pick them, because it's very hard, isn't it, to pick yourself up to win this game, because it's like in the minds of the players, and I'm not saying this is a good thing, and I'm not saying it's all of them, but they'll probably be looking at these fixtures and going, but we're going to beat Southampton on the last game of the season anyway. So, do you know what I mean? I just feel like their heads aren't going to be...
Isn't that too risky, Hooks? This is where I'm going with this. If the general consensus is on paper, let's call it on paper, that you lose to Liverpool, right? And then Newcastle turn you over, that puts... Look, if Newcastle win those 2 games, what does that put you on, Pete? 69.
Those 2 games, we're on 69 if we win that.
69. Yeah. With the likelihood of them beating Everton as well, that puts them on 72. Do you get where I'm going here? Man City probably win their next 3 games, gives them, 73. You could find yourself in a position against Southampton where a draw might not be good enough, because if we win all 3 of our games, or Villa do something as well, is it worth risking it? Just saying, yeah, but we got the insurance policy of Southampton last day of the season.
I don't think that we don't have a choice. Like, I'm not trying to be funny, but I honestly, I don't even really see how we pick ourselves up to beat Newcastle. Like, it's our, do you know what, the only thing that I'm kind of a tiny bit optimistic about is it's our final home game of the season. Maybe a bit of pride kicks in. Maybe a bit of, we want to do something on the final home game of our season. Like, maybe that happens. But I mean, I'll be real. Like, I've played Newcastle 3 times this season, and I've lost all 3 times, and I haven't scored a goal. Like, I'm not being funny. Yeah, obviously, no disrespect to Newcastle, because I like Newcastle, but that should never be the case. Like, Arsenal should never be playing Newcastle 3 times in a season, and let alone not winning, not scoring a goal. So I just think that PSG, Liverpool, Newcastle back to back is, well, that's the dire stuff. That's dire. But then you see me. This is kind of where my mind is at the moment. I would take dropping down to the Europa League if it meant that Arteta lost his job.
Yeah, but you think he would? I don't think he goes, bro. I don't think he goes, man.
Like, you know what? The only evidence I have of a manager ever being let go, well, I think that Wenger left, but I think it was like they had conversations and they probably decided behind closed doors, Wenger, it's probably better if you walk than us coming out sacking you, because you're Wenger, and if we sack you, then we're kind of we will be the bad guys. Like, so just leave. Do you know what I mean? That's the only time I saw that happen is when we didn't get Champions League. So I can only look back and go, hey, if a manager doesn't get Champions League football at Arsenal, they don't quite They don't stay. Even look at Emery. I know Emery. It was November. I think it was November that he left, but he got Europa League, and then he went on a bad run of form. I think if he was in Champions League and went on that bad run of form, he's probably still the manager. But I feel like because he wasn't in the Champions League and he was on that bad run of form, the club's probably going, oh, we might not make Champions League again, you know. All right. So it seems like for Arsenal and the owners, they care so much about the money that Champions League brings you that when they're put into a scenario where they can't get that money, that's when they're ruthless. And that's what annoys a lot of the Arsenal fan base is you should be as ruthless when a manager's underperforming, but in the Champions League, not just waiting until you're not getting that Champions League money. So look, it's a shame that I can't say 100% that he is going to go because I think we batter Southampton. So that's why I really and truly, the Liverpool-Newcastle game doesn't matter. Like, I promise you, yeah, if we cannot beat 20th place, already relegated from ages ago, Southampton, and I've seen many teams go there and put 4s and 5s against them, and Arsenal can't do that.
Long day.
It's like, you know what? I'm not being funny. Yeah, I would like. It would then be like, cool. At what point will my club like make hard
Pull the
decisions?
trigger. Mm.
Yeah, like that's insane. Like, do you know that? Like that. Imagine Arsenal missed out on Champions League because they couldn't beat the team at the bottom of the table.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. Your career on YouTube finishes that day.
Do you know what? Like,
Your phone won't stop ringing of people wanting you on their channel. Let's be real, right? If that happens,
it's happening now, bro. Like, oh, I'm like, it's like God for. Do you know what? Like, God forbid. I already know all of the titles. Arsenal bottle Champions League. Hooks said this. Like, I'll be in the thumbnail. Hooks said this. Arsenal bottle. Like, do you know what I mean? It's crazy. That's why I just need a few teams to do me a few favors. But it's real dark at the moment. Like, if you even go back, even if you just rewind like maybe 2 months, yeah, the fact that an Arsenal fan can sit here and say that there's an opportunity that we could fall out of Champions League spots, even though all of the hard work we put in the Champions League is what gave us the coefficient to get the extra spot. is crazy. It's actually crazy. It's actually insane. So
does anyone else see? Does anyone see him dropping out? Realistically, boys, Pete or Rich, do you see the miracle happen?
They'll beat Southampton. They'll beat Southampton.
Their record's not good. Their record's not good down there, you know.
I actually agree with Hooks, though. I do think that the next two for them will be games that I think they'll drop points in. Like the Liverpool game. I know you mentioned it, Wolfie. You said about Arsenal losing because they've got the hangover from the Champions League. I don't think it's that. For me, I think it's going to be Liverpool not going to want to lose at home to Arsenal after they've just gone and lost to Chelsea. I think you're going to get a reaction from Liverpool. I'll be shocked if Slot plays a weakened team against Arsenal on Sunday. I'll be absolutely shocked. I think.
Do you understand why he did that, Pete?
It didn't work. So now he's going to revert back to type. The big guns are going to be back in the team. And I think you're going to see a team that's going to be properly at it. And I think that's why Arsenal will lose. And it will just. I think it may well continue on. But look, they'll beat Southampton. They'll beat Southampton and they'll be comfortable. I think a lot of people are kind of hoping and wishing it happens, but the reality is that.
I'll tell you what, man, we will have content for weeks if it happens.
It'll be amazing. And like you say, Pete, you know, as equally as I've said, you know, Newcastle could have some tough games. You boys beat Chelsea and then beat Arsenal. Like it's on to you finish above them and finish second or something. It'll be mad.
There's that's the thing that we're talking about from a Chelsea perspective as well in our match previews, that whoever wins out of Newcastle and Chelsea, we're like 1 point behind Arsenal, like going into and if it's us, and I hope it is us, if we go and win on Sunday and we're 1 point behind Arsenal, then we go to the Emirates. If we can win
Just
that,
overtake
that's
them.
it. Like
Yeah,
overtaking them. Like and I'm confident that happens, because I'm confident we go and beat Everton on the last day of the season. So
absolutely. Yeah.
What happens if you draw though? What if this is the interesting one, boys? If Newcastle and Chelsea draw, what does that do? It's like it's hard to do the maths on that one. Who does that favor more? I think it favors Chelsea probably.
Where's bring the league back? They'll be both on 64.
Same goal difference, same points. Oh, sorry.
So I think the fact that they've got Man United next at home probably puts it in their favor, because we're going away to Arsenal. It probably puts it in their favor. However, you know, we're back shaking hands again, Wolfie, because we need you to come and do a job for his last game of the season. I'm still confident we can go and beat Everton, and then it turns around. It could still turn in our favor.
Yeah,
it's not dead. It's not dead, but you know what, Wolfie, when you said about the Brighton game being, not being a good result for Newcastle and all the rest of it, I don't agree with that, and I've said my points why. But if we get a point on Sunday against Chelsea, I will agree with you. And I'll say, you know what?
And that was my kind of...
That's a massive drop. That's a massive step in the wrong direction of getting Champions League. And at that point, I'll be worried. I'll be worried that we're not going to get it personally.
And that's kind of my thought process was, because you drew with Brighton, I now think the draw suits Chelsea more. Had you beaten Brighton, you'd have just been able to keep that gap on Chelsea. That's why I think that Brighton 2 points dropped for me. Even though I do agree with Rich, I think Brighton, you left it late. How many penalty VAR did you want in that game? You know what I'm saying?
That ain't our fault, man. That ain't our fault. But to be fair, the Willock one was bang on. The first two were bang on, because the first one was out the area. Second one, Willock. But you're right. Willock has a chance in the first half, and instead of squaring it or shooting it, he tries outside of the foot the ball over the bar. It was just ridiculous decision making. It was just wild. We had, the final third decisions were not great. The one thing I'll say, boys, is that Anthony Gordon coming back and playing the way he did when he came on fills me with confidence. I feel like we got that Anthony Gordon back that we had from last season in that performance. If we can kind of bottle that up, I actually think he'll start on Sunday. As much as I love Harvey Barnes, I actually think Gordon and Murphy will start, and I think Gordon, being that press machine against a Chelsea defense that don't necessarily like the ball, I think it could be one of those decisions that Howe makes that gets it tactically spot on. Hopefully, fingers crossed.
Well, let's wrap up. I know, Rich, you got to jump off, and CB's just got back from work. He's been messaging on it, but just to finish off, and it'll be a shorter stream today because obviously a lot of the boys it's Friday night. Who's missing out, Rich? We'll just go around the room and we'll wrap up with that. And chat, who's missing out? Put your two teams that are missing out. Make sure you've subscribed to the boys. All the links are in the chat. But go on, Rich, kick us off, mate.
Oh man, heart or head? What do you want? Go with my heart or go with my head?
Give us both.
My head says Villa miss out. Chelsea miss out. My heart says Forest and Chelsea miss out. Villa get it.
That kind of hurts me a little bit. Your heart is full of hate that you want my team out.
If that can happen, yeah.
I got Forest fans saying Forest. Jay, we're having words, Jay. We're having words.
Forest fans say Forest miss out.
Honestly, man, what you've been corrupting him or something? Go on, Pete. What are you saying, mate?
Seems like I'm more confident than some Forest fans that are in this chat. What's going on? Look, in an ideal situation, I'd have loved our four teams to be making Champions League football. And look, Wolf, we said that a few months back we would have
Lions
to be us lot getting Champions League and really kind of mixing it up. But I do think purely because I believe that we'll win Sunday, and I believe Forest will win Sunday. I think it might be a step too far for Villa, just because you've got those 3 points to make up on us, even if we win, even if you win as well, Rich. So I think it may well be a step too far. But I think we beat Chelsea. Because I think we beat Chelsea, and I think you beat Leicester, I think you're going to do it. Because I see you winning. I've said this to you, Wolfie, privately. I see you winning against Chelsea last day of the season at your place. I genuinely do see you winning it. So if we beat them, they've only got 3 more points left on the board.
That's why my head said Villa and Chelsea miss out. Yeah.
Always listen to your head, Rich. Huxley, what are you saying, bro? You've been. I'll give you. You've been consistent from day dot on this, but have the boys changed your mind at all? Or Arsenal to drop out, maybe? You're on mute, bro.
The only change that I see happening is, well, the only way I can see it changing is if Villa win all their games, but Newcastle beat Chelsea, and then Chelsea beat Nottingham Forest. I think that's the only scenario where I don't see Newcastle. So Newcastle and Nottingham Forest are my teams to go through to the Champions League. I do think it will be Aston Villa and Chelsea that go out. And I feel like both clubs have themselves to blame for that happening, because I believe both clubs at a point in the season had more than enough opportunities to just not even bring it down to a run-in. So yeah, sorry. And you know what? I would like it to be Chelsea and Villa. Yeah, Chelsea, I think obvious reasons. Yeah, but Villa, up until you guys decide to get rid of Count Dracula and Martinez, I will have a hatred for your club. But as soon as those you guys go, then you're back in my liking books again, and then we can start rebuilding our relationship.
Is that because Emery always seems to get a result at the Emirates?
Yeah, and the one team he decided to not win the Europa League with was my team. So
shout out to Nick with the 199. He goes, Hopium Chelsea smashing Newcastle, mate. Oh, the Hopium is up there. Listen, we're gonna wrap it up there because the boys need to shoot off. CB sends his apologies. He's been stuck at work, so couldn't make it on to talk big mouth talk on Chelsea. But we'll run the show again in the next week or maybe the week after and see how it's all performed. But I think we can all agree it's gonna be a big weekend this week, man. It's gonna be a lot of maths being done. So shout out to everyone watching. Please make sure you've liked and subscribed. Hooks, what you got coming up?
I've actually dropped some videos today, so if you want to just head over to the channel and go check them out, they're there. I'm on the road to 5K. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly at 5K. So people get me to 5K, and then maybe people like Wolfie and Pete will finally start inviting me. Is
Pete still not invited you on, Hooks?
Yeah, I still haven't been on Pete's channel.
I swear I messaged you back and you could make it. I swear I did.
Yeah, but then I never got a message again. So obviously, after
yeah, one shot, man.
Hey, that's it now. Yeah.
You know what? It's because we do the Champions League thing on Top Table Talk. We do so because you're already there and you're good and you're golden. We're just keeping it But look, Hooks, we got loads coming up, loads planned. You'll be involved, man. Don't worry about that. Good man.
Big up. Rich, anything coming up over on your side?
Hopefully a successful match reaction tomorrow night. So make sure you tune for that. And then tactical breakdown of the game. Fans forum next week. Loads of stuff coming, mate. Loads of stuff. So yeah, check out the channel. And P, the Alliance, my brother.
Okay.
He's back now, is it?
Yeah, you see, Rich, you know. Look, I'm the same as Rich. I'm hoping that we're going to be smiling. I'm hoping I'm going to get these bad boy shades back out ready on Sunday because we've won a game. And if we do win, don't be surprised if you're hearing some Champions League music on Sunday evening, because we will be in a good mood, that's for sure. But look, Top Table Talk, we'll be back next week. These boys will be on. Hooks, if you're around, we'll get you on as well. And we'll do some talk next week. So hold me to that, because I'll drop you a message. And yeah, thank you, everyone. Subscribe. Make sure you subscribe to these boys. Great chat as always. Hit that like.
Yeah, well, we're going to send you over to Igal. He's live. I don't know what my voice went there. Igal's live. So make sure you go and spam Arteta in his chat there. We'll be back tomorrow with my preview for Forest Leicester. There's loads of videos on the channel. Check out the boys, all in the description. We will see you tomorrow. Have a good evening. Come on, you Reds.